on the Frankenstein's monster, make sure you always begin with a new document. This should be a print document, letter size, and we're going to use portrait. Hit create, and you've got a blank space to work in. Use the quick selection tool to select the parts of photos that you'd like to use in your monster. This tool works as a brush, and you brush over the part of the image you'd like. Then grab your move tool and move that body part into your new document. To change the size of the piece, hold shift while dragging on the corner of the item to change the size of it proportionally. When you're happy, click the check mark to apply the transformation. Images that have solid color backgrounds, you can use the magic wand on. Select the background and then select inverse to select the object you'd like. Again, make sure you hold shift when you change the size of items to constrain proportions. If you make sure the auto select is clicked in the control bar, you can click on any layer at any time when you have the move tool selected. Some selections will be more tricky to make, and you might have to add or subtract from the selection to get it right. This might take a few tries. You can also hit shift on the keyboard to add to the selection and alter option to subtract. Those are keyboard shortcuts when using the selection tool. When you're happy with your selection, you're going to grab your move tool and move it into your new document. Oops, if you can't see the new document, you might need to close some of the images you've already done with so that your untitled doc will show back up. It's all the way over there in the corner. There it is. And boom. Now right now my legs are underneath the dress, but I want to slip it underneath the arm as well. You can grab and move layers around at any time. Now this is where that auto select comes in, where if you want to grab a different layer, if auto select is clicked in the control panel or the option bar, you could just click on any layer and move it at any time. All right. To duplicate an item, hold Alt or Option on the keyboard and click and drag. Then we can resize it like this. You can also go to the Edit menu, go to Transform, and you'll see options to change items as well. What else do I want here? I want to grab the earth. Give them something to stand on here. All right, so this has a solid colored background. So I'm going to use that magic wand, select the background, select inverse, which is opposite, and then move the earth into my new document. You notice that the arm switched back there. I did not apply the transformation before I left this piece, before I left this document and went to the other one. So I have to go back and fix that. There we go. Move that back into place. Okay. Close that. Here's my head. This is probably the trickiest selection of all because of the hair. So I'm going to do the best I can in this quick demo. Oh, there we go. Alt or Option subtracts from a selection, and Shift will go and add it back. It's always good to take a little bit more than you need. You can always erase the parts you don't want. I'm not happy with that. Let me just get some neck. That way I have something else to work with when I pull it into my new project. All right, let me move it into my new document. My layers are docked on the right-hand side of the screen there, which is why I have to keep opening and closing them. Put that above the dress. Shrink that down. All right, actually, you know what? I'm going to slip it underneath. Oh, apply the transformation. You can also double click on the item to apply the transformation. Get it to fit. Now I need to resize everything. So I clicked on my first layer, I hold shift, I click on the last layer, and then I can change the size of all the items at the same time. All right, let me zoom in. I'm going to do a little little cleanup here, right? To give the illusion that the arm is inside the dress, right? I want to erase. Well, if we actually first, let me adjust this. I want to make it look like, yeah, there we go. That looks good. A little bit more. See if I can get that curve to match with the bicep. Nice. You can actually use the arrows on the keyboard to nudge items around. All right, I'm going to go to the dress layer. I want to erase the back strap, right? And this is going to give the illusion that the dress is going around the arm, right? I'm going to erase all this part right here all the way up to there. So this would be, I'm erasing everything that would have gone behind the arm. So I'm giving the illusion that this arm is wearing this dress. You can change the size of your brush when you're erasing or any tool by using the brackets next to the letter P. All right, let me do the other arm. I'm going to show you a different way to do the other arm here. I'm going to actually show you this is a transformation control. It's called the puppet warp. It gives you a grid. You can put down pins. Once you put down the pins, you can use that to modify or change the image as well. It could create distortions, so you might have to go in and fix things, but it's kind of a nice way to fine tune yourself. It's still a little distorted, but for the most part, it's fine. I'm going to leave that alone. All right, notice that there's a little bit of white pixel halo from the old photo on that dress. I'm going to clean that up. All right, now I'm going to go to the arm layer and I'm going to lower the opacity. So instead of erasing from the dress, I'm going to erase from the arm. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to erase. I'm actually doing the opposite of what I did on the other side. I'm erasing where the arm would overlap the dress. And this is going to give the illusion that the arm is underneath the dress. And if you notice, I also lowered the opacity in the layers palette there so that I can see where the dress ended and began. All right. Brackets next to the letter P, make that brush quick bigger and clean it up. I'm also using a hard-edged brush, right? Not a soft brush, because I want my edges to be crisp. All right. You give the illusion that he's wearing that dress. Now, let's see if I slide him. What do I gotta do? Slide the arm above. Nope, that's not gonna work. Actually, I'm gonna erase here now too. Erase his head. I want his neck to be inside the piece here. So I lowered the opacity, erase from the neck, and I'm pulling the dress out in front. All right. Okay, getting bigger and smaller. That's the brackets next to the letter P. All right, that looks pretty good. He looks good in the dress. All right, now I'm going to play around with the color balance. I went to Image, Adjustments, and Color Balance. And I want to tweak the color on his face to match the colors on those muscles a little bit more. So I'm going a little bit more yellow, a tad more blue. I could fix up got that little bit of a pixel halo where his hair ended and began. I'm also going to grab a soft eraser now, and I want to smooth out. I'm lowering the opacity on the eraser because I want to get rid of this line, this hard line here that's kind of separating his neck from his shoulder. And if I kind of keep brushing over it, I can kind of blend the two things together. I can even do it more. No, I like the gradual a little bit. I'm kind of working with the muscles that he's got there. All right, I'm actually going to grab the clone stamp. Now remember with the clone stamp, if you hit Alt or Option on the keyboard, you get a target. And once you get that target, you can pull parts of the image over. Just trying to blend this a little bit. There we go, go all the way into there. That's okay if I kind of overlap a little bit, because I could always take that eraser tool and erase there we go, where that strap was. Okay. Alrighty. Got a few more things that I want to clean up, right? So I'm going to use my eraser tool to make sure that there's no white pixel halos or edges that look kind of jagged, right? We want those things, it's a leg, so I want those legs to look smooth. Now you will notice that the legs are of a lower resolution than the dress. The dress looks really crisp and clear, and the legs look kind of blurry. Ideally, I would go back and find a different set of legs, maybe one that would look clearer or sharper with the dress, just to make it look even more realistic. Again, the brackets next to the letter P change the size of my brush. It's a great keyboard shortcut to get used to using. Clean up this leg right here. That looks good. With the dress, got this white line. Let me get rid of that. Almost looks like it's a hem, but I'm gonna, yeah, kind of like it a little bit. Oh, no, just get rid of that. Yep, there we go. Very good. Okay, there we go. Looks good. I've got the earth there. I'm putting two different pieces together to create my background. Almost like he's standing on the edge of a planet in space. I want to make sure I slide that background behind everything. Now I didn't hold shift to change the size of the background because for a piece like that, I can kind of distort it a little bit and it's going to be okay. Text, body parts, it's important to keep those proportions constrained or you can get some really awkward things there. All right, thanks for watching. You've done a great job putting your body together. Now let's work on the shadow.